If you love being at sea, can there be anything more enticing than a ship under full sail? It feels so adventurous, romantic and nostalgic. There are just a handful of ships that offer this experience, and this, Sea Cloud 2, is one of the very best. The original Sea Cloud was commissioned by the tycoon E.F. Hutton for his wife in 1931, and she's still one of the finest and most opulent sailing barques in the world.
We're here in Bequia this morning. We've come alongside and it's such a treat to see both ships together. They are real head turners and attracting a lot of attention.
Launched in 2001, Sea Cloud 2 was built to exacting modern standards and yet echoes her older sister's tradition of elegance and glamour. Teak decks, lots of polished brass and wood and luxury furnishings make her a very comfortable ship indeed. Accommodating up to 94 guests, she has 47 cabins. An elegant restaurant with the highest standards of food and service. A lounge, library, spa and gym. And plenty of open deck space, both for relaxing and open-air dining. But the big draw is she's a proper sailing ship. First Officer Catherine Whitaker is in charge of the rigging team.
Here on the Sea Cloud 2, we set our sails in a traditional method. We have 15 deck crew. They will climb the rigging to prepare the sails to set them, and then while some of the crew are up in the rigging, there are other crew down on deck preparing all the lines. When everyone returns to the deck, then they have to haul on the lines to set the sails.
And it's absolutely fascinating to watch, and of course all the passengers do get to watch, but can they actually take part in that process?
No, it's only the professional deck crew who are involved in setting the sails. The passengers are not involved and cannot assist.
Yes,
on the Sea Cloud 2.
I'm not sure I'd want to be climbing up that rigging anyway. It looks pretty dangerous.
It's quite high. There are risks involved, but the crew are trained. They get quite experienced at it.
Yeah.
So during the daytime hours, we open the bridge up when we're at sea underway, and the passengers are able to come to the bridge and speak with the officers on the bridge, look at where we're going, check the instruments, or just sit on the bridge wing and enjoy the view.
On this cruise, it was the Caribbean providing the spectacular backdrops. Our sailing adventure began in Antigua and ended in Barbados, visiting no less than 11 other islands along the way, with local guided tours included, as well as options for independent sightseeing and beach stops by Zodiac. On a cruise of this kind, every day is different. I chatted to Sea Cloud cruise director Tom about life on board.
So it's quite a gentle pace, isn't it? You sort of ease through the Caribbean.
We want to give them time to enjoy the sailing, and we want to give them time to enjoy the lectures. So time at sea is very important for us.
And I think that's really key on this cruise. It is about the ship primarily, and the destinations are pretty much a half day.
Well, on this trip there's been a great balance between, nice ports, morning in the port, in the afternoon sails go up and we have a lecture at 5 o'clock. It's worked out many days in that format. We have music generally 3 times during the day, so tea time, cocktail hour, and then after dinner.
Of course, people are attracted to this Nova Caledonia ships generally, and particularly this ship, because they are small and they don't want the entertainment of the big cruise liners. But there are a couple of fun nights.
We don't always have a pirate night, and we don't always have a cabaret night, but it just worked out this trip. The feeling was right. We had wonderful singers and some funny people to make presentations and recitations. And then, of course, last night, the steel band, that's going to be on this itinerary. We'd always try and get that band.
It's a very relaxed, it's very informal.
Yeah.
It's been a very open, amiable atmosphere, I think.
in a social setting like this, people will keep interacting and they won't start
Yeah.
splitting off into groups.
And even, you know, quite a few people travelling on their own or whatever, there's always someone to talk to.
Oh, yeah.
And the crew, of course, are just super friendly.
This group is particularly well educated and well traveled. They have a lot of stories to tell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even if you've been to the Caribbean before, this is such a great way to see multiple islands. We've literally been to a different island every single day. Sometimes time is quite limited, it's only a half day, but it's enough to get a taste of each of the islands and actually to really appreciate the contrast between them. Not just the size of the islands, but the cultural influences and the history.
As with all Nova Caledonia cruises, there's the added dimension of a lecture programme on board. In this instance, focused on the golden age of the Royal Navy, with maritime history expert Peter Warwick.
We are in parts of the world here in the West Indies which relate directly to the story of the evolution of the Royal Navy during this great age of sail. The most important thing on this particular voyage, of course, is we're sailing under canvas. This is a series of lectures about the age of sail. Here we are sailing. And Noble Caledonia, well, they've put together something which makes it an excellent platform to talk about the whole history of the Royal Navy during this Golden Age period.
It's a wonderful area. It's full of history. It's a fascinating area to be in, and I think the series of lectures have just brought the whole place alive.
This ship is about the same size as Nelson's flagship Victory, so she carries about the same amount of canvas and is about the same length. So you really get a feel for what it would have been like. So I think it all adds to, you know, the enjoyment of the cruise, definitely.
We've been under sail, I think, more often.
Than we expected.
More or less on a daily basis, and perhaps we didn't expect that.
Yes, yeah.
We weren't quite sure. And the initial explanation about which sails and on different days which ones they've used, and we just want to stay on a bit longer and experience a bit more of it, I think.
As we've seen, a holiday on board Sea Cloud 2 really is a unique experience. You might tell people you're coming on a Caribbean cruise, and yes, it is cruising, but it's about as far removed from most people's idea of cruising as you could possibly get. This really is sailing in some considerable style.